a little bit impromptu, but this is what's constantly on my mind right now. So I want to bring it to your attention so that you have the greatest opportunity to just blow this last quarter out the water, okay? And so what I want you to do at the bare minimum is, and I know some people in this room don't do any of the things that I'm talking about right here. Some people do it 20%. A lot of you do it 50, 60%. And there's another group that does it 80, 90, and Jose Vidal 113%. Right, as far as what we're talking about here, and recommendations and things like that you could be doing in your business. And a lot of the benefit of being just in this group, in this meeting right now, is that just this hit list of items that I can give to you, if you were to actually execute and work on, it can almost be a guarantee that you're just on a different trajectory than most other people, even in this room or in this business in general, especially in this business in general. And so I really want us thinking, if we want to make sure, who in here, fourth quarter got to be different? Let's be real. Who in here, fourth quarter got to be different? Got to be different. Got to be, and it has to be going up, right? Doesn't mean things can't be going great for you right now, but it has to be that next level. Some of you, that next level is getting one listing a month. Some of you, and one deal a month, right? Some of you, it's getting 2 listings or a couple deals going on a month, 3 or 4, 5 or 6, 7 or 8, right? And so the benefit, though, is that it all comes down to what we're doing with our time. I understand that if somebody in this room is very busy and they're working on a lot of listings, working on a lot of buyer deals, they're going to be doing certain things that restrict them from actually being able to maybe even generate even more because they're actually on an appointment. Hey, you can't go to somebody's house and probably hit a door for the most part at 6 o'clock if at 6 o'clock you have a listing appointment, clearly, right? Doesn't mean you couldn't do something around that. But in reality, if you had a listing appointment every single afternoon or a qualified buyer to show each and every single afternoon, man, you'd be a very productive agent. You're probably somebody that is closing, 4 or 5 plus transactions a month. And I would love to give as many people in this room a taste of what it would actually feel like to close a handful of deals in a month, right? There's people in this room that have closed a handful of deals in a month, and it feels really nice when you do it. Because if your average deal even was $5,000, holy crap, it feels pretty good to make $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. If your average transaction is $10,000. Think about how great that month could look like, right? And the good thing is there's people around you right now that are having that kind of success. They're taking listings, they're putting deals under contract. So how do I get myself in a position where this fourth quarter, everything feels different because my 2024 is just going to be at a totally different level than even the last fourth quarter, and I'm really just heating up. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that 2024 is my year. Write this down real quick. In your freaking soul, in your soul. Not from you having a glass ceiling, okay? Not from you going, I don't know if I could actually accomplish this. I don't know if I'm up for that, or I don't know if this is my time to do it now. What is the transaction amount, right, that you really want to close in 2024? Is that 10 transactions? Is it 20 transactions? Is it 30 transactions? Anything in between? Anything anymore, right? Or anything in addition, right? Whatever that number is. Because for somebody in this room who says 30 may feel, trust me, just as daunting as somebody in this room saying 10 because of where they're at in their business, right? For Ethan's like, shit, if I can do what I told Chris I was going to do on that plan, then what did you put down, like 12? 12. Yeah, basic Ethan. We need you. No, I'm just joking. So, but that's a good goal, deal a month, right? And so what do I have to really do to make sure that I go into 2023 in the best position to even do 1 deal a month? Because you can go get 12 deals under contract. Does that mean they're all going to close, Jose? They're all going to close, right? No, you may have a few. You may have to sell one of those bad boys a few times. You ever have to do that, AD? Sell the same listing 3 times? They don't pay you 3 times when you sell it 3 times, for the most part. You know what I mean? You got to put it back on the market and get the job done, right? And so I know when we even think about the number 12, let's be real, who thinks 12 does seem like a really obtainable and pretty, not saying easy, but it's definitely not an impossible number. Very, very plausible number, right? But I'm telling you, if it's May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, everybody's partying, everybody's having a good day, and you're sitting there reviewing your numbers and you're like, oh shit, I've only sold 2 homes from January to May. How is that 12 even gets more daunting? And the reason why that happens for a lot of agents and 4 or 5 months go by and they do half as much production is because they don't realize that 2024 starts right now. It really does start right now, right? And so you need to be going into January with, 2, 3, 4 things going on, Ethan, right? And you just closing some stuff out in December and November for you to really go, you know what? I'm definitely going to get this 12, and hell, I may even raise it up a little bit, right? I'd rather you be in that position where you're like, you know what? I'm so much on track. I'm ahead of schedule. I feel like we can raise this number versus like, I think I can still do it. That's not really the mindset any of us in here want to have, right? And so I'm breaking this down, or what I'm going to break down can really be the cure, right? And it can give you everything you need in order to get to that goal. So if it's 12 deals, 24, whatever the number is, a lot of you should put an income next to that goal. What's the income? When you think of that 12, what's that income, Ethan, that you're thinking of?
Like 6,000 a house, possibly.
Okay, so let's say it's 6,000 a house, right? So 6 and 12 is what?
36,000.
Hey, I'll write the checks. I'll get the check. No, do the 12. Do the 12.
I did 12,000.
All right, we'll make sure you get that. We'll make sure you get that much out of it at least. Right. You'll see, if you see me in Greece, I'll be like, thank you, Ethan. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, how much was it?
77, you were right.
Yeah. I used to be the worst math person, and then I don't know, somehow I'm pretty good at math now, I think. And yesterday, Yolanda asked a question about this and that, and the numbers made no sense, and I was like, this is the number. And then I looked at, I'm not even telling her, I'm like, yeah, I'm very confident this is the number. And I look at the calculator, I'm like, holy shit, that was a number. And it was pretty cool stuff. I was like, I didn't know I could do that. So, but you really need to identify, as a real estate agent who's going to sell real estate, hopefully, above anything else. But the idea is you need to identify, hey, what is this 12 deals going to get me? Well, it's going to get me $72,000, right? And how important is it for me to make $72,000? Or if it's $144,000 or double that and double that, it has to be very important. You have to look at those things. So how do I make sure that Ethan goes through that process and gets to that number by December 31st, 2024? We need to make sure we are capitalizing, right? So I need to capitalize at the highest level. Please write this down. In order for me to accomplish what I want in 2024, I need to capitalize on the fourth quarter of 2023. I have to capitalize on it. What does capitalizing look like in my mind, okay? And this is not going to be for everybody. So you could have a watered down version of this, but let me give you the extreme, because there's some extreme people. I was just on the second floor parking lot with some people that really want to be extreme and get some great results and work at a high level, right? So this maybe would be like for the people that are in those accountability groups. And then I'll water it a little bit down for what it maybe should mean to you if you're just not trying to maybe go so hard at that level, right? Because I understand, I can sit here and preach a certain mindset and a certain thought process, but not everybody in the room is going to buy into that. It's because we're all at different, we're at these different levels in what we're trying to accomplish here. And so if I was talking to the people in the accountability group, this is what I would write down. Every day that I don't have a listing or a buyer appointment, Monday through Friday, I need to be spending that time finding a buyer or a seller. Very simple. Write that down, please. Every day, Monday through Friday, because who in here has a goal that one day, even if it was 2 years from now, 3 years from now, if you wanted a listing appointment or a buyer appointment every day, it's not even hard to do. Would you like to be in that position, right? Think about you work 250 days out of the year. Let's say that was the number. And let's say you literally had an appointment for even half of those days. That's 125. And let's say out of those 125, let's say, 40, 50 of them ghost you, or you don't even think that they're worth working with because you pre-qualified them. And then you're left with 75 that were good appointments that you went on. What if you took 75% of those appointments, right? What's that number? 50? Something like that, right? Can you imagine in 50 deals and your average check was $6,000? That's $300,000. Ethan, how many people you know making $300,000 a year? Like one. It's like his dad or something, right? Who is it? I don't know. It's his rich uncle or something, right? And so what has to happen is for me to get in that position where it's 300,000, 600,000 or more, because for a lot of us when we start off, it's like a goal we have, but it's very it's not real. Who in here wants to make that a realistic number for you one day, right? Then we realistically have to work and behave like that person right now before we get paid that much money, right? We talked about the green grass on Monday. Hey, if your grass is burnt to a crisp right now, if I water it today, is it going to be green tomorrow? When's it going to be green? It could be months. It could be months, right? But then a few months later, people are like, hey, oh shit, the yard's looking nice. And then it gets a little bit better, and it gets a little bit better. And was it because you were behaving as if you had a yard that is already like that? Is it because you're behaving like, oh, it's not worth, like I'm not there yet, so I don't need to water it the same way, right? No, you have to start behaving like somebody who's been taking care of their yard. And in the beginning, you actually have to take more care of it because of the lack of maintenance it's already been given, right? And so I don't want to go back into my Monday meeting about it, right? But that should be how you look at your afternoons. So if I'm in your position and I'm in those accountability group, one of those accountability groups, or I'm trying to be as serious as people in those groups, then my recommendation is if it's the afternoon, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and you don't have an appointment and you really would like to be in a position where you have an appointment, then you need to lead generate for at least an hour, 2 hours in that time frame. You just need to find the time, okay? And another benefit is the people that lead generate in the morning, it's fantastic. The best time to lead generate outside of the morning is between the hours of 4 to 8. So every day you don't have an appointment, you should just find, what's that hour or those 2 hours that I capitalize because people are leaving work, they're heading home, they're doing things. It's a perfect time to communicate with them, right? The next thing I would do to make sure that I'm capitalizing in 2023 into 2024 is that on a weekly basis, you need to identify how many expireds or for sale by owners that you're going to go to the door and talk to. Who in here is scared to go to an expired or for sale by owner door? How long are you going to be a little bitch for? Right? You know they're a lot nicer in person. Who in here has gone expired door knocking before? Right? You know, aren't they a lot nicer in person?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Well, you're not that nice. No, I'm kidding.
Unless they're me, I was kind of an asshole.
Oh, yeah. Right? But in reality, how's your presentation? Because I guarantee if somebody is more confident, they're just going to get a really good result from it, right? And the chances that you have to really take a listing in person, like if I say that if you went to 10 expireds at the door and you got to talk to 10 of them, without a doubt, there should be 1 to 3 people that you should be being able to take a listing from at some point, whether it's in the next month, 6 months, or 12 months, just because you went and created that relationship with them. That's how important it really is. So if you're trying to get more out of your time, then you should go, okay, on the way home today, I'm going to go stop by these 4 expireds. So what I want you to get to on this is, hey, how many days, or like what days, Monday through Friday, am I going to go and stop by 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 expireds, right? It could be more than that. And if you have questions about how to, strategize on that, we've talked about this a million times. We'll keep talking about it to you and giving you all the right answers on how to do it with the most efficiency, right? But in reality, if you went to 10 a week, write down just 10 a week right now. How simple is that? That's like 3 days where you went to 3, right? It's not even that hard. You've been doing that lately, right, AD? You were doing it for a little bit. Is it that hard?
Yeah, it's not hard at all.
You just stopped doing it. Yeah, so let's think about 10 a week. Let's say you just worked 40 weeks in the year, not 52, 40 weeks. 40 times 10, how much? 400. I'm telling you, I think somebody could do 40 deals a year just from doing that one thing alone. Going to 10 at the door. It's almost impossible to do that for 12, 24, 36 months and not get those kind of results and it just get better and better and better for you, all right? What stops us from doing it? It's either fear. It's either I'm lazy. Who's lazy sometimes? Let's be real. Hey, would you rather be lazy in the current house you're living in, driving the current car, doing the same things you're doing, or you'd rather be like lazy and have like $200,000 in the bank? Wouldn't it be a lot more fun? You could stay in Brazil for like a year, right? He'd live like a king. He'd go over there, break up with his girl, just restart. Hey, who else? I'm a bachelor, baby. He'll do the Bachelor Brazil. He'll be starring on MSNBC or something. I don't know, whatever. So, the idea here is that, should I wait on a little bit of this laziness at times? Because everybody else is not, like your friends and family, in most cases, they're not on the same mission you are. You're actually investing, you're over there watering some burnt grass, and they think you're crazy. But then when they go by in a few years, they're going to go, holy shit, look what this person's been able to accomplish. And so if we can just postpone some of the laziness or some of the fear. You just don't even have to have the fear, right? We could really accomplish some great things, and you can accomplish some great things here in this last fourth quarter, right? And so, from the top on this, it goes down to, hey, the days that I don't have appointments, I need to be productive, whether it's on the phone or in person. I need to go spend that time talking to people. And then over time, I'm just going to elicit this response that I pretty much have appointments to go on all the time. And then when that happens, you'll actually be like, damn, I wish I had more time to lead generate because of what's happening is working so well, right? And that's a really cool problem to have at that point versus you're like, oh, I wish I didn't have to do this. If you ever feel like I wish I didn't have to do this, you shouldn't be doing it because that comes through in what you're doing and nobody wants to work with that person. I don't want to go to the register at a store and the person doesn't want to be there. I literally go to the person who's smiling, who's looking for the next person. Oh, I can take you here, right? When the guy's like, you ever go by the aisle and it's the grocery, like when you're the checkout, and it's like fewer than 12 items, and there's nobody in the line, and you have like 15 items, and the guy's like, he almost doesn't even want you to like come into his aisle because he knows that you have a little bit more than that. Like, I hate that guy. I want that guy to be like, come on, I got you. Isn't that what you're looking for, right? So you got to be happy to be in your position, right? So you have to be happy about the opportunity that you have. So you should go preach your opportunity to as many people when you don't have those appointments. And then that next thing is I should probably identify 2 or 3 days, Monday through Friday, where I'm going to go to 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 expireds each day at the door, and I'm going to go out and give me some listings from that, right? And then the third thing I would say for the rest of the year is you should identify right now, what are the Saturdays I'm actually going to work? And it doesn't mean you need to work 10 hours on a Saturday if you're actually trying to go and have the craziest 2024. But could I work for 2 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Saturday, 6 hours on Saturday? Is that an impossibility? Would I do that now if it made sure that 2 years from now I'm doing 40 plus deals a year? Would you do it right now? So then when are you going to start doing it? That should be the idea. And so like this Saturday, understand, I'm looking. Who's on that live? Who's doing something? Who's being productive? Who's even doing open houses, right? Who's here in the office? What's going on? And then when those people tell me things aren't working out, I go, oh, it's because you're not working out. It's because you're not working, right? Because it's working for other people that are right around you. And what's happening is either we're full of fear or we're a little bit lazy, and we need to get really clear on what we want. How many transactions do I want in 2024, which we're going to be talking about very, very soon over those 3 months to make sure that it's in our brain what we're going to accomplish. And what is that amount of money? And then what do I get to do with that money that's going to really make my life a lot better? Because it's not just the money, it's what I could do with that money that really has a powerful effect for you. And then, let's see, how you actually how that production varies from the people that commit to these 3 types of things on a regular basis versus the people that just doesn't matter as much. Now, if this is a little bit more on the extreme end for some people, which I hope it really shouldn't be, then could you go to, 3 expireds a week instead of the 10? That should be pretty easy. Could there be 1 day a week or 2 days a week where I make some calls from 5 to 6 or 5 to 7 to set some appointments? Maybe you're not going to do it each and every single day. You could downgrade that by 20, 50, 70%. But if it gets you doing 20, 30, 40% more than what you're doing now, what could you expect? You expect a better response from that, right? And if you have any problems or you have any issues trying to solve these things, then come talk to us about it and we'll help you get the most out of your time. We want people to be bugging us going, oh man, how do I accomplish this? How do I do this? Those are great conversations to have. It's when people are being more in that avoidance about their business and about what they should be doing is when they really get stagnant and then they kind of lose hope in their business. You really got to start making some money you got to have the hope before you even have the money. But if you don't have the hope and you don't got the money, you don't really seem to progress as much as other people can. And we want to see everybody progress. So let's capitalize on the rest of this month and the rest of the last quarter of the year. This could be such an amazing time to where somebody like Ethan, who would like to do 12 in next year, let's be real. What was your goal between now and December 31st?
2 listings, 3 buyers.
Okay, and you want to have how many closings was that total? 5 closings total?
5.
So let's be real. December 31st, you got 5 things going on. Is your goal still going to be 12? Or would it go up a little bit?
It'd probably go higher than 18.
So what are you doing to flame that fire, to fan that fire, right? You know what I mean? Like that's really the mindset. It should be, I got to get competitive. And that's like for the accountability groups, I was talking to them up there in the parking lot for a little bit. And like the idea is to have them like just watch how high their standards can be raised to. And for the people that aren't in those accountability groups, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, hey, it's just, could I raise my standard by a certain percentage point so I can really get something great out of this? So, let me know if you need help with any of this stuff. I think those 3 ways could really be a huge benefit to your business as far as just growing your production. Any questions on any of that kind of stuff or how to do that stuff? Who in here has never gone and like hit any doors before, hit an expired at the door, right? Go with somebody that has. I'm telling you, it's not that big of a deal. Like, not everybody thinks like you'd eBay and is like, well, sometimes they're nice. I've never been to, the weirdest thing I've ever gotten at a door was like the guy was like naked at the door. Weirdest thing at the door. Like he was like, he had like a towel and he thought he was cool by holding the towel like this and his junk being out. And I was like, not even impressive, bro. Not even impressive. Not even impressive. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But other than that, like you really find that people are really nice. And it's how you carry yourself. It's how you carry yourself, what you're wearing, you're smiling, your enthusiasm, your belief to help them out. You can't go, like statistically, can you go talk to, like, if you went to 10 expireds at the door a week, 400 a year, right? Out of 40 weeks. If I went to 400 a year, you don't think you'd be taking listings like left and right from talking to 400 people in person? Like statistically, it's like gambling. These people were on the market in the past. There's a good chance they're going to be on the market in the future. And right now what you're trying to uncover is who right here has to sell based on what's going on in their life, because nobody right now would actually maybe want to sell for the most part, unless you're very motivated. Because they're, no matter how much good objection handles you have for the interest rates and all these different things, some people are just not going to make that move, right? Well, in the future, as things kind of loosen up a little bit and the rates go down and things kind of get a little bit more positive in all the marketplaces, whether that's in 12 months or 24 months, it won't be the same, right? Like there'll be a lot of people that will just list because I just want to, and it'll work out for them and they'll sell and they'll go buy something. Right now, it's identifying the people that have to sell. Right? Because if you're an investor and you own a house right now and you're like renting it out, in reality, you'd probably go, unless I have to sell this, I'd rather sell this thing when the rates go down to 5% because the prices will spike up again, right? You're looking for the guy that's like, hey, that renter keeps beating my house up. I can't afford to keep it up. I just need to get my money out of it, right? That's the people right now. But then you're cultivating all these other people. So think about the expireds you go to that it's not the right time for them, but you met them, you've talked to them, you spent that genuine time with them, you've talked about things. Now 6 months down the line, they want to do something. So if you want to like start building up that big pipeline of like big picture business because you went out there and talked to people before, man, I'm telling you, if things go the right way sometime in the middle of next year and they let rates go down a little bit, those people are going to be like, that were on the fence are going to be like, I'm ready to go, versus, oh man, that works for somebody in the office and you're like, shit, I never really went and did that stuff. And so I'm not getting these 7, 8, 10 calls in a month out of nowhere of people that want to list their property. So if you really want to get lucky, but you also just want to work hard and get to where you want to be, these are the things that I would be doing, okay? Thank you. I appreciate it.